Hello and welcome back to the Avoid the Tyrewall podcast. Today I'm joined by Jeremy Fairbairn. Jeremy, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a racing driver. I've been racing for over 10 years. Started off in go-karting professionally and then moved into cars about 3 years ago.
Uh, you've driven in Formula Ford, GB4, and USF Junior. Which would you say has been the best?
Um, I've learned lots in everything I've driven, but I've enjoyed USF Junior and GB4, but when it comes to like what I enjoy the most, I'd have to say Formula Ford because the car just really matches my driving style and the competition in the series is like nothing I've ever seen in cars. So it really reminds me of karting. Like it's just such close racing and it's loads of fun.
Would you rather race in wet or dry conditions?
I'd have to say definitely wet because it's not just whoever has like the best equipment, it's whoever can push the car to its absolute limit without making any mistakes.
If you could only drive on one circuit ever again, which would you pick?
Yeah, I'd have to say Oulton Park to be honest, because it was always my favorite track just to drive on the simulator and everything before I visited it in person. And yeah, the fact that I won there is just the cherry on top. So
With GB4 being a relatively new series, were there any worries before the season?
I think the main things were just like adjusting to the weather and the difference in the track styles in the UK. Because I previously raced in England before, and that was in Formula Ford at the Formula Ford Festival at Brands Hatch. But yeah, I think those were just the main things, getting used to that in like a wings and slicks car.
Yeah, British weather is just so great. I look out my window and it's torrential downpour.
Yeah, that was one of the main things. And also like beginning of the season, for the preseason testing, I was testing at Oulton and it actually started snowing when I was testing. So that was like the coldest I've ever tested. It was really fun though.
When was that? Like what month?
I believe that was in like March.
My God.
Yeah.
What do you think is the difference between a good driver and a great driver?
There's a few aspects to it. I think being able to like stay calm and not overdrive in tough situations is a huge one, but being a great driver isn't like all about driving. It's about the work that you put in on and off the track in order to stay in the sport, and it makes you like want it that much more, you know?
Yeah, what do you mean by like off track, like simulator work or like working out?
Um, Fitness, simulator training, and just like sponsorship work, like marketing, getting yourself out there more to try to find a seat for the future and just, yeah, really try to set up your future more. And that, like, just if you really have to work for it, it'll make you want the wins just that much more. It'll make it that much more special.
How did this season, so in GB4, compare to previous ones?
Yeah, it was definitely like a an enormous learning experience. It really like put me out of my comfort zone because this was the first time I've actually been away from home for that much or for that long. And like the atmosphere is completely different. Like the level of competition and intensity that I've experienced in the UK, it's taught me a lot, and it'll definitely help me in the upcoming years of racing.
Were there a couple of other American drivers in GB4 this year?
Yeah, there was one or two. Yeah.
Did you think like having, obviously America's a big country, um, but did you think like having people from, you know, probably similar backgrounds, do you think that kind of helped you at all?
Yeah, it definitely made me feel a bit at home for sure. Because there was one of the American drivers, Colin Queen. He attended to iZone with me, and iZone is a driver performance place that I had signed up to during my stay in the UK, and it really kept me busy, just like with fitness and sim work. So we got to know each other over there, away from the track. So that was it was pretty cool. Yeah.
How do you prepare for a race? Like, do you listen to music? Do you like to be alone?
Um. Well, preparing for a race weekend, I like to get on the sim and just run some consistency drills to just make sure I'm completely ready. And then, yeah, when it comes to like at the track before I put my helmet on, I like to get into like a quiet spot, either in the trailer or just somewhere near my pit where I can just put some headphones in, yeah, listen to music, try to get myself pumped, just get the nerves out before I get onto the grid. And yeah, that's basically what I do.
What's the best kind of music like for pre-race?
Um, I listen to like either like it depends on the mood. I listen to either hip hop to just get myself pumped up, or just like something slow just to calm myself down, get the heart rate going down. Like Yeah, just things like that.
If you could have a conversation with your younger self, what racing advice would you give?
Yeah, I'd say it'll get tough. Just keep pushing and just believe in yourself throughout like all the lows in the sport because there'll be plenty of them, and trust the results will come.
Who would be your dream teammate? Now they can be dead or alive.
I don't necessarily have a dream teammate. I think I'm a pretty competitive person, so I typically prefer someone I know I can beat. But to be honest, it's great to have someone that I can learn from, and they'll push me to be at my best ability. So yeah.
Do you think that there are any drastic differences between racing in the UK and racing in the US?
I think one of the main differences is definitely the weather because I'm from Florida in the US, so it's most of the time it's really hot here. I've only raced in the rain in the US maybe once or twice, but in the UK it was like almost every other day. Also, at my level of racing in the US, there's maybe like 1 to 2,000 fans that attend to a race. In the UK, it's like there's so many fans. Like the grandstands are full, and there's all fans walking around the paddock asking for signatures. It's such a cool environment.
If you could sum up your 2023 season in 3 words, what would you choose?
I'd say intense, composure, and perseverance.
Indianapolis 500 or Monaco Grand Prix?
Yeah, it's a tough one. They're both very iconic races. I'd love to do both, but if I had to pick one, I'd say the Indy 500 because there's so much that goes into it. I mean, I've always wanted to race in Monaco. It's always been a dream of mine, but like the Indy 500 is not just down to the driver. It's the entire team that plays an enormous role in the result and the outcome. So
Lewis Hamilton won his first Formula One championship title while racing for which team?
McLaren.
Yeah. The title Grand Prix was first used for a motor race in which country?
You repeat that?
The title Grand Prix was first used for a motor race in which country?
It's got to be England.
France.
Okay.
When did Michael Schumacher make his debut?
I'm not sure. 1992.
1 year out, 91. I'll give you half a point.
Okay.
Which 1973 Grand Prix saw the introduction of a safety car for the first time?
I'm not sure. I will not be able to answer that one.
Canadian. At the 2021 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, Max Verstappen and which other driver suffered tyre blowouts during the race?
Lance Stroll.
Correct. Who holds the record for the most amount of days between wins in Formula One?
Most amount of days between wins. Is that Alonso?
Riccardo Patrese, and it's something like 2,400 days.
Okay.
What's Nico Hulkenberg sort of like known as? And like he's not done something.
Say again, sorry.
Like Nico Hulkenberg's sort of known as something, and it's to not do something. So he's the driver that's not done something.
Not win? I'm not sure.
I'll give you half because it's no podiums.
Okay.
Which driver won the opening race of the 2022 season? He didn't win the title, I don't think.
Charles Leclerc.
Yes. How many race wins does Sebastian Vettel have?
Gotta be over 40.
53. I'll give you half. And can you name this track? Hang on, someone snap me. My hand is covering.
Sebring.
Yeah. You got 5.5 out of a possible 10.
Okay. I'll take that.
But I think it's Dear Halo _lover asked what's the best type of pizza.
I love me some Chicago deep dish pizza. Can't lie.
Fair enough. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Avoid the Tyrewall podcast. And thank you to Jeremy for agreeing to do this interview. See you next week. Bye.